Ever wondered why some of the wealthiest people around us look nothing like Hollywood's idea of a millionaire? Why is it that so many people with actual, lasting wealth don't wear designer brands, drive luxury cars, or live in extravagant mansions? Today, we're diving into Stop Acting Rich and Start Living Like a Real Millionaire by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley, a game-changing look at how real millionaires actually live and what we can learn from them to build true wealth. Dr. Stanley spent years studying America's rich and found that the vast majority of people who look rich are, ironically, anything but. They may appear wealthy, but behind the scenes, they're often sinking in debt, striving to keep up with an image that keeps slipping away. On the other hand, genuine millionaires, the ones with financial freedom and peace of mind, live far simpler, more intentional lives than you'd think. Let's explore why, and most importantly, how these lessons can help us transform our own lives. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Wealth. Dr. Stanley opens by challenging the misconception that wealth is what we see. Many people believe that wealth means designer clothes, luxury cars, and lavish vacations. But this kind of flashy wealth is often superficial. Dr. Stanley uses real-life stories of people who are acting rich, showing that they're actually living paycheck to paycheck. The book reveals that the top 1% are often invisible, living in modest neighborhoods, avoiding the allure of luxury goods, and focusing on real financial stability rather than public perception. One story that stands out involves a man making $200,000 a year but living with stress and debt due to maintaining a high-cost lifestyle. Dr. Stanley uses this example to illustrate how easily we can get trapped in a cycle of consumption. He reminds us that it's not what you earn that determines wealth. It's what you keep. Chapter 2. Who are the real millionaires? In this chapter, Dr. Stanley introduces us to the millionaire next-door archetype, ordinary people who quietly build wealth without flaunting it. Real millionaires aren't the ones showing off. They're disciplined, financially literate, and focused on long-term goals. They don't buy luxury goods as status symbols, nor do they live in the most expensive neighborhoods. Instead, they prioritize financial independence and peace of mind. Dr. Stanley debunks the idea that all millionaires have high-paying jobs, expensive educations, or come from wealth. Instead, many of them are self-made, often choosing practical professions that allow them to save, invest, and grow their wealth. This chapter is an eye-opener for anyone who has ever felt the pressure to keep up with the Joneses. Dr. Stanley reminds us that genuine wealth is internal. It's about security, freedom, and control over your own life. Chapter 3. Big Spenders versus Wealth Builders. Next, Dr. Stanley compares two distinct groups, big spenders and wealth builders. Big spenders are the ones splurging on luxury, prioritizing immediate gratification, and often ending up in debt. Wealth builders, in contrast, think long-term, often living far below their means and focusing on financial goals rather than material ones. This chapter is full of interesting statistics. For example, most millionaires avoid status symbols like expensive watches and luxury cars. Instead, they drive practical cars, often several years old. They're not looking to impress anyone. They're aiming to sustain and grow their wealth. Dr. Stanley shows how the financial habits of wealth builders create a virtuous cycle, making wealth easier to maintain and grow over time. He offers practical advice here. Instead of keeping up with the Joneses, focus on making smart, strategic decisions that allow you to build a financial cushion. Wealth builders often adopt a mindset of mindful frugality, a balance between living well and saving wisely. Chapter 4. The Millionaire Lifestyle is a Myth. In one of the most revealing chapters, Dr. Stanley dives into the myth of the millionaire lifestyle. According to popular culture, the rich live in luxury homes and drive exotic cars. But Dr. Stanley's research reveals a very different picture. Most millionaires live in comfortable, average homes in unremarkable neighborhoods. They're less concerned with appearances and more focused on assets like retirement savings, investments, and education for their families. Dr. Stanley tells the story of a couple worth several $1 million who still live in their modest first home. They could afford luxury, but they find contentment in simplicity. This story underscores a vital point. It's not the price tag of a home or car that defines wealth. It's financial independence and the freedom to live life on your own terms. Chapter 5. Luxury isn't the answer. Dr. Stanley argues that luxury goods are often a trap, luring people into a cycle of endless spending. He talks about how luxury items tend to depreciate in value and lead to a never-ending quest for the next big thing. In his research, Dr. Stanley found that actual millionaires often avoid high-status items like expensive watches or designer handbags. Instead, they buy things based on value, durability, and functionality, not on the brand. One compelling story involves a millionaire who drives a 10-year-old car that he's kept in good condition. For him, the car is a tool, not a status symbol. Dr. Stanley's point here is clear. True wealth comes from investing in things that add value to your life rather than chasing trends. Chapter 6. Spending wisely and investing consistently. In this chapter, Dr. Stanley gets into the specifics of how millionaires manage their money. They're careful with their spending and have a disciplined approach to investing. Rather than trying to make quick profits or chasing get-rich-quick schemes, they invest in things they understand and are patient with their returns. Millionaires tend to prefer stable, low-risk investments that build wealth slowly but steadily over time. The secret here, according to Dr. Stanley, is consistency. Millionaires don't chase the latest investment fads. Instead, they invest regularly in things like index funds, real estate, and retirement accounts. They understand that wealth is built gradually and that patience is one of their most powerful tools. Chapter 7. The Freedom of Financial Independence. Dr. Stanley wraps up with the ultimate reward of wealth, freedom. True millionaires don't live for anyone else's approval or standards. They're not trapped by debts or social expectations. Instead, they enjoy peace of mind, security, and the freedom to make choices that align with their values and goals. He emphasizes that financial independence isn't just about money. It's about control over your time, the ability to pursue your passions, and the freedom to live without constant worry. This chapter is a call to shift our mindset from acting rich to becoming genuinely wealthy, not just in dollars, but in the way we live our lives. So, what can we take away from Stop Acting Rich? Dr. Stanley teaches us that wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about living a life of intentionality, discipline, and freedom. True wealth is built through frugality, smart investments, and a focus on the things that truly matter. Real millionaires aren't competing with anyone. They're building a life that reflects their values, not society's fleeting trends. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.